Welcome back, Sebastian here. So today I want to start my series for my mid-season roundup looking at each of the 10 Formula One teams. Starting from 10th in the Constructors, so today looking at Alpha Tauri. So for Alpha Tauri, it's been a struggle, to say the least, to start the year. They've had a pretty challenging year. They're last in the Constructors, obviously, with only 3 points. So first I want to take a look at the teammate head-to-heads. So obviously for the majority of the season they've had Tsunoda and Nick De Vries, who of course was kind of disposed of after the British Grand Prix. So during their time as teammates together, 2 points for Tsunoda, 0 points for De Vries, race head-to-head 7-2 in favor of Tsunoda. And just looking at average finishing position, 13.2 for Tsunoda, 15.5 for De Vries. So a sizable difference there in race finishing. Quali head-to-head 8-2 in favor of Tsunoda, with an average qualifying delta of 0.223 in favor of Tsunoda. So overall, very comprehensive, quite comprehensive victory for Tsunoda over De Vries, I would say. And just for fun, looking at my average power ranking, 8.1 for Tsunoda, and De Vries 19.6. So De Vries was basically languishing near the bottom of the drivers, while Tsunoda was slightly above average, I felt, during their time together. Expected points, so I basically made a model looking at basically based on how where a car starts, how many points they should get. And I basically made a whole bunch of models. One was basically for back markers for really slow teams, and 6.13 for Tsunoda, 2.3 for De Vries. Obviously, that's below both of what they actually got. But that being said, their car was very slow, so I'm not entirely surprised. And I think it just shows that for qualifying, Tsunoda was starting in much better positions than De Vries. Now this number down here, 2.2, this is basically the Z-score. Basically, I took a whole bunch of factors in terms of points, finishing position, their ability to basically move through the field, progress on their qualifying position, and basically it came out with a score of 2.2. And the bigger the number, the larger the gap between teammates. Smaller the number, the closer the gap between teammates. And for them, it was 2.2, which is the fourth biggest of the teammate pairings this year. We have quite a few really big ones, but this is a pretty big number by itself. Of course, after the British Grand Prix, De Vries kind of was disposed of, and we had Ricciardo who came in. And of course, Tsunoda and Ricciardo only have 2 races together, so a very, very small sample size, so we can't really say a whole lot. But of course, 1 point for Tsunoda, no points for Ricciardo. Race head-to-head 1-1, qualifying head-to-head is also 1-1. Qualifying delta, I've written down 0.013 in favor of Ricciardo because the qualifying at Belgium, the gap between Tsunoda and Ricciardo was about 3 seconds. Definitely not representative with Ricciardo getting his lap deleted, so I've simply left it as 0.031. Average power ranking, of course, there's only been 2 that I've done since Ricciardo's comeback. That's 15 and 15 apiece. So, but generally, I would say that through 2 races, they do look pretty close, I would say. But we need a lot more data to really draw any conclusions from that. Now, looking at Alpha Tauri in qualifying through this season, first 5 races, so from Bahrain to Miami, they were about 1.533 seconds off of pole, which ranked 10th among the 10 teams. Races 6 through 12, so this is from Monaco onwards to Belgium, 1.203 seconds. So the gap in qualifying shrunk a little bit, but still it ranks 10th. Unfortunately for this one, there's 3 races or so that I couldn't use because of wet qualifying sessions. So unfortunately, a bit of a small sample size there. In qualifying, they're not particularly good. In the race, they're not very good either, only 3 points, which is obviously 10th. Now, looking at Alpha Tauri's year-on-year results, 2020, 107 points. They finished 7th in the Constructors that year. Obviously, Pierre Gasly getting the team's first win, technically their second win. First win since Sebastian Vettel in the Toro Rosso. Really great year for them. And then they improved on that in 2021. 142 points, 6 in the Constructors. very close to their goal of 5th in the constructors, but not able to do so. And then we got the new regulations, and in 2022, drop all the way to 9th in the constructors with only 35 points. And this year it's been kind of another step back, only 3 points, of course, all courtesy of Sonoda, and 10th in the constructors. So for Alpha Tauri, they're a team that's really gone backwards gone backward and taken a significant step backwards since we got the new regulations. They've been, last couple of years, they've been basically trying to become more independent from the parent Red Bull team, but because the results have been so poor the last couple of years, from next year onwards, it seems like they're going to be going back towards what they did prior to 2022, being much more closely aligned with Red Bull, using as many Red Bull parts as possible, which should, given how strong Red Bull has been the last couple of years, should definitely provide a good boost to Alpha Tauri. So I think for Alpha Tauri, I think this year's kind of a write-off. They're not, realistically, they're not going to finish in the top 9. They're not really, I would be very surprised if they finished above 10th in the constructors. And I think for them, I think really for the remainder of this year, it's going to be about evaluating Sonoda and Ricciardo, and maybe also seeing what they do with Liam Lawson, who of course has been rumored to be connected with a seat for next year. But that was of course prior to Ricciardo joining the team. So what they do next year, I don't really know, but I think for the second half of the year, they're just probably going to try to be getting as many points as they can, and just trying to evaluate, as like I said, evaluate Sonoda and Ricciardo. So that's all for my look at Alpha Tauri, first of the 10 teams. And I'll be doing this about every other day, so please continue watching and enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.